Hello, hello, hello. How cool is Cleveland? Anyone from here? Woo! It's my first time, and I got a chance to take a run next to Lake Erie this morning, and it was just so nice to watch the sunrise and just get a feel for the vibe here. I even high-fived one of the people I met at the networking event last night, so that was really fun. So thanks, Mike, for the introduction. I'm Elena Luneva. I teach, develop CPO level skills. That's one of the things that I think is really important for directors, for ICs getting into those executive roles. And we'll get into that. We'll get into finance. The other things I teach is go to market, executive presence, and influence. So I'm really excited to talk to you about these foundational communication skills that I think all PMs need to make sure that their ideas get funded and get heard. So if you want to follow me, see anything that I write, go ahead and scan that QR code. It'll also be available at the end. So I wanted to take you back to when I was a GM at Nextdoor. My job was to get local businesses, like the plumbers, the bakers, to get on Nextdoor and connect with their neighbors. Now, a lot of you probably know Nextdoor is that place with a feed where neighbors are talking about the deer taking over the neighborhood. And that's something that I observed. I'm like, why do we have a feed? We have a local social network, and yet we can't really find the things around us. And I tried to talk to my executives about that. I'm like, hey, maps create neighborhood engagement. We've done tests, they're 3 times more engaging than the feed. People want geographical discovery. What does that mean? People are used to going to drop off their kids, they're used to going to work, but they miss that route, that bakery that's just a block away. And as a GM of local business, I wanted them to find that bakery. I wanted them to connect. So why not a maps interface? I even showed them this picture that a little kid drew. As you see, there's a house, a playground. There's different ways that people put emphasis on the things that they care about in their neighborhood. And yet, all I got was, that's an interesting idea. And a lot of these polite nods. It just wasn't resonating. Until I started thinking about, what is happening? So I was saying improve neighborhood discovery. They were listening to what is the revenue opportunity. I was saying reduce friction in local connection. They were trying to hear like what part of this will convert to paid. I was saying, hey, we're going to get users to like Nextdoor more. I'm a product manager. I want them to like our app more. And they were listening for, well, what will this help us with retention? And this is the disconnect that a lot of us have. The gap between being right and being effective is that language of finance. As product managers, we talk in customer. Your executives, your stakeholders, the people that are going to fund your project, they're listening in finance. So what changed? I needed to talk to our CRO. I needed to let them know that, hey, if we get advertisers to advertise locally, that's a new revenue stream. I had whiteboard sessions with our partnerships team and picture how recess could show up on a seasonal Halloween map, the map that enabled neighbors to find other neighbors that were giving away treats. Recess fit organically on that little pin that would be on a house. I needed to create quick mock-ups and see that sponsorship could translate to different revenue potential. And those numbers, those changed everything. So instead of talking about, hey, maps as a feature, I needed to talk about maps as a revenue platform, recurring partnerships revenue, 3 times ads revenue, and new differentiators that we can now sell to our enterprise customers, things that our competitors didn't have. So, I mean, here's the punchline. And I wish somebody had told me this 10 years ago. When we talk about users, when we talk about user research, about making things more engaging, better, we're speaking in Klingon. And our executive teams, they have one universal translator set to finance. Now let's take it back a second and think about what is the job of an executive. The job of an executive is to run the business, to make bets. So the invisible ceiling for PMs is that we're talking in customer and they're listening to us in finance. So that universal language is finance. When executives are placing bets, they're thinking about, okay, what are the 4 different things that we can use to evaluate this? And the 4 questions are, what is it? Why does it matter? When do I get it? And how much is it going to cost me? And there's 2 ways to answer those questions with numbers. One is revenue modeling, and the other one is business case modeling. So raise your hands if you know your product's unit economics. All right, I think I have a 1 half hand raise. What about your customer acquisition costs? All right, I got 2. What about your lifetime value? All right, I got 1. No wonder finance doesn't take us seriously. I hope everybody's vibe coding. So here's the first one, revenue modeling. So think about your features as a funnel. You have customers at the top, some of them convert to paid, some of them engage, and you take a cut of that. But Elena, I work on a SaaS product. You still have customers, don't you? So let's take a quick example of search. Who else hates working on search? It's this tiny box with so much expectation. But let's say 10 million monthly users visit your search page, and then 2% click, 5% convert, and they buy. Maybe it's $500 because it's a plumber, and you take 10%. Okay, that's 500,000 in revenue. So if you're working on search and you're like, hey, I'm making search easier, your CFO doesn't care. But if you're like, hey, CFO, I'm going to make us another $1 million, that's a very different conversation. So when I talk about maps, I talk about compounding revenue stream effects, seasonal maps, engagement converting to much more engaging advertising, which means 3 times X the revenue. When I talk about partner integrations, I say that Recess will pay us $1 million so we can put a Recess pin on the map. Increased time on platform converts to more money. Now, the second way you can have this conversation is in horizon planning. The way you can think about your bets is what are the things that will pay off in the next 6 months? That's horizon 1. What are the bets that will pay off within the next year? That's horizon 2. And then the ones that, might not work, but if they do, that inflection is going to be big. The way you can think about this is with the features that you're going to get out there is, hey, what is the investment that we need to make and what do we need to learn right now to get us to that next horizon? For the mapping interface, the first horizon was, can it even be done? Can it be done with the people that we have? Will people engage? Will sponsors engage? So the metrics that we were looking for were time on platform, engagement, and sponsorship revenue. Small numbers, but we were getting those. When you then present Horizon 2 and you've gotten through Horizon 1 and you've gotten those proof points, can you make it into a system? Can we add seasonal campaigns? Things like Halloween treat maps, or where are people decorating their house for the holiday season, or the help map so people can connect with other neighbors during coronavirus. These are different layers where the engagement brings additional revenue from other aspects of the platform. So that means you can get business integrations in there. You can get events integrations in there. And the metrics change The metrics change with you. What are those platform effects? Is the positivity changing? And if the positivity is changing, that means more people are likely to come to Nextdoor and engage with other parts of the platform. And that compounds with sponsorship revenue and translate into recurring revenue. And that gives you the building blocks to continue to invest in the products that you want to within the company, bringing you to Horizon 3. Maps becoming a core discovery infrastructure within Nextdoor. So you can translate those metrics into metrics central to user experience. Metrics central to user experience, meaning they spend more time, and that converts to progressively more revenue within the company. But switching from engagement, time on platform, to how does that translate? How do you create the financial model to get you to that next state? So I wanted to do something with you guys. So I'm going to say the product metric, and you're going to say the financial metric. They're up there, so it's not very hard. DAO and MAO, revenue potential, retention, lifetime value, engagement, revenue per user, support tickets, operating expense. So let's try it. DAO, MAO, retention, engagement, support tickets. Got it. So now when you need to fight for that quality initiative, you're going to use OpEx. When you're trying to describe that by introducing this better component of your product, you're going to say the revenue per user is going to increase. So next week's challenge, instead of talking about user experience, instead, try to talk about the revenue impact. Move from asking for resources to proposing an investment. Instead of defending your roadmap, present your business case. Thank you so much. I'm Elena Luneva. Hope to find you in the audience.